That's neat. Back in the hazier days of my youth, Y&T was a legend among rock and roll bands. I know I've been to several of their concerts, but I don't remember it, which means I had a very good time. They performed all over the globe. They opened for acts like Ozzy Osbourne and AC/DC. We are so glad to have Y&T frontman Dave Meniketti here to show us how he uses computers to make music. Dave, I got to shake your hand and bow down to you. It's so nice to meet you.
You're my hero.
Oh, no, it's quite the opposite. I'm really thrilled to have you in. When Bill here told me that you actually watch the show once in a while, I was very pleased.
That's more than once in a while.
How long have you been playing the guitar?
I started when I was 16, which is kind of late for a lot of guitar players.
Because I have a 9-year-old son, and I'm saying,
Right.
play the guitar. And so 16, huh?
16, but I was a fast learner.
Yeah.
I got a record deal when I was 20.
Wow, that's cool.
And I've been touring and making records for 30 years.
Do you love it?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. It's really, what a great thing to be able to
I was off the road for a couple of years in the 90s, and my life was hell.
Yeah, so you like the performance.
I
Me
actually
too.
do.
I can't do. I have to do stuff in front of people.
That's
My
right.
wife says I won't even have a conversation unless 20 people are listening. I don't know if that's true. So the things have changed quite a bit though in that time in recording. Your first album, I'm sure, recorded in a traditional studio.
Traditional
right?
studio, analog tape, yes.
Cost hundreds of dollars an hour to use.
That's right.
Recording studios had to fork over big bucks to make those
That's
albums.
right.
Now you can do it at home.
That's right.
Is it as good?
It is.
Really?
Yeah, it really is. You have to know what you're doing. I mean, really, it comes down to engineering.
You're a sound engineer now and
exactly.
a producer as well as a performer.
That's right.
You have to be all.
Yeah, you have to be.
Yeah. But is that fun for you? You like it?
I love it.
Show us
because
what this.
I'm a geek, you know.
You're a geek. You like the gadgets.
I love to tweak with everything.
So
yeah.
you brought, and I have to say, I'm thrilled that you must have had a hand truck and about 4 roadies because you brought a ton of stuff here.
My wife helped me roadie.
Thank you. This is stuff from your home recording studio.
Yes. Actually, I borrowed the CPU from Central Computer, but they make all of my CPU.
You just didn't want to pull it out of the rack.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is a rack mountable unit. And
well, we're gonna get to the. Let's go in order. Start with the Firewire audio card.
Sure. I mean, generally speaking, you want to get a good quality audio card.
So you don't have one in the computer?
You can have one in the computer, but generally speaking, if you have one in the computer, it's usually got a breakout cable to a box.
Right.
Because when you're in the studio, you don't want to be climbing and reaching back. Right. You want all the stuff up front. This is Firewire. This makes it really easy. You don't even have to get inside your computer and put a card in, worry about interrupts or anything like that.
M-Audio is the name of it.
M-Audio, yeah. M-Audio actually is one of the best companies out there for sound cards right now because they keep their drivers current, and they're really good.
Very important.
Very important, yeah. And
now, one of the advantages also getting the sound card out of the box is you don't have all the electrical interference that's inside the box. So a lot of people say it's cleaner to get if you can get a digital output, as you do with Firewire, and have all of the analog to digital stuff
Analog to digital and digital to analog conversions are done outside the box.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always better.
Now, I like these speakers. We were listening, and this sounds like we're at a concert here, and they're just tiny little speakers. What are these?
These are also from M-Audio, and they're their little 5-inch satellite speakers, and I also brought their subwoofer down here, and it's a nice little combo, and somewhere in the range of $500 for the whole thing.
You're kidding?
No. And,
wow.
and you can really hear what's happening when you're recording and mixing and so on and so forth.
What makes a good speaker? What are you as a musician and a recording artist looking for in a speaker?
Well, generally speaking, we say that we're looking for accuracy. You know, we want things to sound...
You don't want the bass to be too loud.
Right, exactly. I mean, when you're in your studio, you're trying to get everything to sound pretty even, because when you're mixing, if you have too much bass, like you have your subwoofer turned up,
you'll mix it wrong.
You're going to mix it wrong.
It'll be
all
too
your
low.
mixes are going to sound like they're bass shy,
right?
Because
right.
you thought you had plenty.
You had more.
Right.
Yeah. What's the Pod XT Pro?
The Pod XT Pro is this red thing. Now, basically, if you're a guitar player and you're wanting to record at home, you're going to really have problems with your neighbors if you have a Marshall stack and you're just turning it up
you
with
want
a microphone.
that big stadium sound.
That's
baby.
it, absolutely, yeah. And this really does it for you. It's a great tool, especially for songwriting and everything like that. It models amplifiers. So in other words, maybe it's got a model of a Marshall stack or a Boogie or a Fender or something like that, and you can choose between those. You can choose between different types of cabinets, like a 412 cabinet or a 212. And you can even choose your own microphone. What microphone do you like to record with?
It'll model a microphone, so you can use any
model
mic.
a microphone. Well, they have certain microphones in here, like a 421 or a 57.
But you use like a Shure mic here, and then you can have it be any mic coming out.
Exactly, and then and you can even pull it further away from the cabinet or right next to the speaker. You know, it's all modeled, and they give you effects, delay, chorus, things like that. So it's an all-in-one kind of thing.
And these are all digital effects now. I mean,
Digital
this is
effects,
all computer modeled and everything.
Yeah.
And if, as you mentioned down here, the PC that puts it all together, and it's a PC. I mean, it's running
It's
Windows,
a PC.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Let's show some of the software that's running.
Sure.
on it.
What I've got up on right now is Cubase. Now, this is from a company, Steinberg, that I use their top-of-the-line product, or at least their most expensive product. It's hard to say top-of-the-line anymore because Cubase and Nuendo, which is the product I use a lot for making records too, they're both very, very similar. They have similar features.
I'm going to take a break, and when we come back, I want you to show us, because you recorded your latest solo album on this
That's right.
program. In fact, that's what we're looking at right now. Wait till you hear this, folks. It's amazing, all by yourself, what you can do. Multi-track recording.
That's right.
That just sounds great. When we come back, more with Dave Meniketti, the front man for Y&T. We're having a lot of fun here. We're going to hear some rock and roll, too, in just a minute. Rock on! Right after this. Stay here. Now, what hall is that we're playing in? Are we in Wembley Stadium here?
We're in the Call for Help hall.
We got Dave Meniketti here from Y&T, and he's showing us how musicians, pros even now, are using standard PCs and standard software to do their music. Now, of course, some of this stuff is not standard, like the M-Audio sound card, but you could do a lot of this stuff with your existing home PC.
Absolutely.
And this software, of course, is off-the-shelf software, Cubase.
Right.
So is this a multi-track recording program?
It is indeed. And you want to use this for just about anything that you want to do, including coming up with ideas. In fact, typically what I do when I'm songwriting for a new record, I'll just open up a track for the vocal and a track for my guitar, and I'll be sitting in my studio by myself, and I'll just be recording myself and coming up with ideas on the spot.
And if you like it, you got it.
If I like it, I've got it, exactly. And I know how to access it real quickly, and I can add drums and bass to it later or whatever I want to do.
Now, you play all the instruments on here?
I don't. In this particular instance, I have my band playing with me. What we've got up here, all this gray stuff, this is all the drums. I've got,
look at that.
everything separate.
So you mic
kick
each drum
drum, a
separately.
snare, a hat, and exactly.
You can also use a program, and I know you do like Acid, it's called Acid, that allows you to kind of take other people's sampled music and put it in. So you could use that to kind of try ideas as well.
I use Acid a lot, actually, for songwriting. It's a great idea.
You don't need to bring the band in.
Exactly, yeah. You've got samples of drums, bass, keyboards, anything that you want, and you can start crafting a song before you even play a note.
What's the name of this song?
This one's called Storm. And
so this is is this down here at the bottom? That's the guitar solo?
This is the guitar solo, and what I thought I'd do is I'd show how you can use this once you've got your basic track. When they say basic track, they mean bass and drums, basically, is what they mean.
Rhythm in the background.
The rhythm in the background.
Yeah.
And this is how most records are done. And then after that, everybody comes in and they put their parts over the top of that.
That's typically how it's done. They lay down the bass and drum, and then one at a time, each musician comes in.
That's right. It's like, oh, it's bass day. He's going to go through do all his bass again. Okay, now it's guitar day. Now it's vocals and background vocals and so on and so forth. So you come in, and the great thing about doing it with this type of software is, and it's also a bad thing. It's a good and a bad. It depends on how much you overuse it, I should say, is the fact that you can just keep going over and over and trying a bunch of different takes.
Change it.
And they can do what's called comping. In other words, if I did 10 takes of one song singing. They go in there now and they've got all 10 takes lined up, and you can I'll take just this word from this take, this word from that, and you just make this one performance out of it.
Saves you time.
It does.
Can you also change the tempo? Can you change the key? You can do all of that too.
You can. You can even slip things in, like if somebody played it maybe a little faster than it should be, you can just take that one thing and compact it in size. I mean, it's really what we used to think was a cheater way of doing it, but if you're a real musician, you want to get your soul in it.
It saves you some time.
You want to get your soul in it
You want to get
first.
it right. Well, but that's why sometimes bands nowadays can't perform live, because they never did perform it live. Bands like Y&T started
we
live.
Can actually play.
And you actually can play. Hey, let's show them how you would dub in the rest of that guitar solo.
So basically, this blue right here, this is the guitar solo, and I basically muted the second half so I could say, okay, well, I didn't really like the second half when I did it. I open up a new track. I don't have to, but I do in this instance, and I've got it ready to go. and all you do to hit record is just hit the asterisk key in Cubase or Nuendo, and you're ready to go. So I'm just going to hit play, and then I'm going to hit record and start playing along.
Dave Meniketti from his solo album, this is Storm. Let's see. Yeah, I love it.
And then there it is.
Oh,
it comes
man,
up on the
recorded.
screen. It's done. It's done. And then
I brought, I just thought maybe I brought some of my own instruments because I believe that I have some rock and roll talent. So if you ever needed some percussion, I could just. Hey, by the way, your wife, your wonderful wife Jill, is sitting there, and we thank you, Jill, for being here and helping Dave schlep all this stuff over here. And does she put up with all of this gadget stuff? You know?
Yes, she does.
She's a very nice person.
Actually, she's one of the rare wives that I have these giant, humongous speakers in my front room, and it's like, bigger's better. It's like, that's a wife.
She's a keeper. That's
Absolutely.
wonderful. That's wonderful. Dave, it's been so much fun seeing you play and seeing what you use in your home studio to make music. You guys are performing right now. In fact, I know you're going to be up in Petaluma in a little bit.
We'll be
playing
up in
in
Petaluma.
Anaheim.
We're playing
at the
Anaheim House of Blues tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
And any albums you want to tell us about?
Well, I'm working on my next solo record, and Y&T has got a new record coming out, which is previously unreleased material.
Wow. Oh, that's great.
Because we've been playing for so long, we've written all these great songs, we demoed them up, and a lot of people haven't had a chance to hear them.
What's the name of that?
Unearthed.
Unearthed
Volume 1.
Y&T, Volume 1. There may be Volume 2.
There will be more.
If you want to learn more. And by the way, listen for the great bongo playing. No. If you want to learn more about turning your PC into a home recording studio, surf on over to our website, techtv.com/call for help. Dave Meniketti, great to meet you. Thank
Absolutely.
you so
Pleasure
much
to
for
be
being here. Can you just a little something to take us out?
Sure, absolutely.
Coming up next, the ability to hide the TiVo on our prize board is getting a little scary. We don't move it around. Someone's going to get it. Wired World Challenge coming up while we rock on.